Right, if you knock $1,000 off, I'll do a little.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
exactly.
what does he care?
Dude,
He'd
this guy's
rather
house
pay
was
extra.
probably PGA Tour players pay $30,000 a week to rent someone's house out for 4 days.
Yeah.
No, his house at the Ryder Cup must have been absurd, dude.
Insane.
That was in the Hamptons, basically, like
Oh
Beth
my
Page.
God. That'd be
That's where it was. That guy was probably paying $250,000 cash a
For
day.
sure.
for
Yeah,
that guy's
exactly.
house.
Exactly.
You know, and I guess a little meet and greet. Anyway, good to see the GOAT back in the rotation with NBC.
We got our own MJ.
We have our own MJ, our own GOAT. This guy, he wheels around the ice doing interviews, man. He's changing the game.
big
We
shot,
love it. Here's Mike Johnson, our TSN hockey analyst. There he is. No bucket? Did you ever think about wearing a helmet, a hat? What was the plan there with Austin?
No, it didn't cross my mind for a second to put a helmet on. I was like, you know, I got a tracksuit on, although you notice TSN monogram tracksuit, custom, I might add. But no, never a helmet. And, you know, baseball cap maybe. But, nah, it was neat. I mean, Austin, we don't see him sort of let his guard down at all, right? Like when he does media, there's a lot of people there and he knows everything he says is going to be dissected every which way. So it was, I was impressed that he was so comfortable. Like he just was kind of having a good time and chatting and smiling and laughing and telling stories. And I think people may see him slightly more human and less robotic. Like he was charismatic and he was funny and I'm like, you're like, that's a guy I want to go have a beer with, not, you know, what maybe we see in the regular media. So, yeah, no bucket, never. We should have done one hard lap and gone with a little race with each other. That would have been interesting.
Yes.
Dude, if you had a bucket on, Johnny, they would have pulled that from the dock
No,
and said, we can't air this. Like a big, awkward,
If
like,
we had a bubble
joke
cage
or anything. Dude, a half cage. Some kind of old school CCM helmet with a half cage, they would have pulled it. So we can't air it.
Listen, I played 12 years. I never wore a visor once. I'm not putting one on to do an interview with Matthews.
Yeah.
And if they would have said, like, you know, rink rules, you know, Hockey Canada rules, you have a helmet on, like, interview's not happening. I will not do this with a helmet on.
Yeah.
It's just,
You're
that
right.
is that is a non-starter for the whole thing.
Yeah.
That would have changed everything, dude.
Andy Reid with a fishbowl out there.
Honestly, he could have, if you were wearing that, he could have said, I guarantee a Stanley Cup. I guarantee I score 1,000 goals, and no one would care. No one would even. It wouldn't even be like it wouldn't go viral.
It would be afterthought. It's like look at this idiot trying to do an interview, fogging up his face mask, talking to Austin. So, anyways, I appreciate it because it was something different for him. It took up half an hour of his day, so that's not something he likes to do. So, we're appreciative of it.
Do you think he would have accepted the request after last night, the way things have been going for this team, or what?
I was disappointed that he didn't score a hat trick last night. I'm like, I did it on Monday, I guess. I'm like, I hope he has a good game. I hope he just lights one up, but it wasn't to be against Jersey last night. It wasn't a good game for him. It wasn't a great game for the team. And a lot of the questions almost growing into concerns for the Toronto Maple Leafs were sort of highlighted yesterday in that game. In that, primarily, they want to be a big, grindy team. And I had a little interaction, but it's like, I think they know what they want to do. I don't think they know if they can do it because they haven't. Like, I don't know if they can be this sort of dump it in, forecheck, turn it over, possess it, wear you down, ground and pound kind of team. I get the philosophy. I get the playoff philosophy, but I haven't really seen any stretch of time in a game other than the second game against Detroit where they really sort of control play. Other than that game, they haven't really had long stretches of play where you're like, that's a dominant team. That's a really good team. You've seen blips, minutes, you've seen talent and skill, but I think if they're trying to reinvent sort of how they approach playing, they haven't got it, and I don't know if they have the personnel to really execute it as well as they want to for 82 games.
So, Johnny, we seem to have this conversation, and Hayes always has the classic line, no need to get concerned because they're going to end up with 100-plus points. And we have this conversation every year, and it ultimately comes true. Are you comfortable in saying that right now, where it's like there's no need to panic here? These guys are comfortably going to have 100 points, and this is just a blip on the radar.
Panic and concern are two different things. Panic, no. I don't think there's need to panic yet. But I think concern, sure. And the other part about if you look at what the Leafs did last year in winning the division title, what allowed them to win so many games primarily, right? One, Stolarz, league best save percentage, great goaltending. He hasn't been as good, and Joseph Wall hasn't been available. So their goaltending hasn't been quite as good. One of the winning points for them, not quite as good. The other one was their superstar players won them a lot of close games, right? 2-2 in the third. Their top guys would do something special. Well, one top guy is gone. That's reality. He's not here anymore. And their other big top guy in Austin hasn't gotten off to a really rambunctious start offensively playing. So that element is no longer quite what it was last year. And then you think their power play was also pretty good. Got them some timely goals. Power play's not so good this year either. And we can get down to like defensive coverage and, stuff around the net. But I just look at the way they won close games, because they basically played games 50-50 last year and said, our top players are going to win it. And more often than not, their top players, including their goalie, did in fact win it. Those things are not happening as frequently as well this year. And that is a concern. Not panic-inducing, but a concern.
So, Johnny, we started the show, we were talking about Stolarz' comments on Saturday compared to his comments last night. Where were you at with his original comments, and where were you at with his assessment, which we all, I think the three of us agreed, his assessment was, I think, not disingenuous, but it wasn't bang on last night, put it that way.
It was teammate speak last night is what it was.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
exactly.
What he said, I don't have a problem with. The fact that he said it publicly, not ideal. But, whether they say it in person in the dressing room, which they do, and they did, or whether he says it in public, it just makes it a little bit more volatile being in public. But I think the message remains, and if you have a good, healthy, strong team, and if Willie is, as good at shaking things off as we know he is, I don't think it lingers for a long time. But what it does do, it makes the next little while difficult for all parties involved, especially Stolarz, because you call out guys, like the guy who's, second in the league in scoring, you call him out for not being good enough defensively. Fair enough. It wasn't a great play in overtime. Guess who's got to be real good for the next 2 weeks? Don't give anyone a chance. Not that Willie would go down this road, but, who are you calling guys out when your save percentage is 880? Clean up your own mess before you worry about everybody else's. That sort of sentiment. So there is that. And then the idea that he was kind of brutally honest, almost unusually honest once. Now, can he be unusually honest always? Well, obviously not, because last night they didn't play great. And he's praising the work and the box outs and the effort it did. And he's trying to probably make